Ladies and gentlemen, happy 2025. It is us. We are here. We are back. You have no idea who we are, but that's okay. Welcome to the newest show on the Huge Pop Hub Radio, Rinside 5. I am your host, George Mckay. You may know me from Straight Talk Wrestling, where I've had a few amazing conversations with a whole bunch of great indie, present talent, legends, and of course, big names in our favorite business, which is pro wrestling. And with me by my side is one of the original OGs of Straight Talk Wrestling, a living legend in her own mind, but still one of my very best friends, someone who's like a sister to me, and someone who everyone I know for some reason thinks is good looking, and I just don't see it. Please help me welcome, I haven't said this in so long, but I'm very excited to say it, the voice of reason herself, Michelle Arujo. Welcome back to the world of podcasting, my dude.
Thanks, man. What a great introduction. How can I be upset at that? Thank you for having me, and it feels good to be back.
It does. I mean, we're talking like Straight Talk's going on its 10th year.
Crazy.
Which it's been a lot of work, a lot of grind. You were there for probably at least the first year, I would say 18 months almost.
Yeah.
And then, we just kind of decided that it was just, well, it was a whole bunch of drama with the third leg in the cog. Won't get into that, though, but you've always supported, always cheered on, always been there for everything that I have done with Straight Talk. So when I was given the opportunity to create something new and exciting, because after 10 years of almost 10 years of interviewing, you plateau, you get bored.
Of course.
So I wanted to come back and have a little fun and do what I love doing best, which is debating wrestling with someone who I think has a great wrestling mind.
Oh.
And since I couldn't get a hold of Eric Bischoff, I have... No, I'm joking.
I was like, aw.
No, but honestly, dude, your knowledge is second to none. And I don't think pro wrestling fans like accept women now in that world. But I almost feel like a pro wrestling woman's voice is not really respected. I mean, we've broken down so many barriers in women in this sport.
Right.
But I still feel like there are some women, like my wife is a huge wrestling fan, has more knowledge than I ever will.
Oh my God, yeah. The biggest wrestling brain. Yeah, hands down.
Ask her to come on one of these shows. What do I get? Hold on, here's my Sasha impression. I'm shy.
She is shy, but she's so knowledgeable, and God bless her. We love her to death. We would be incredibly lucky to have her, even as a guest spot on any one of these episodes. So... Sasha, I hope you're hearing this. We want you on the podcast.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen for sure. Now, Ringside 5 is a pretty basic concept. We're going to discuss either a wrestler's career, or we're going to discuss something in pro wrestling and give it a top 5, our opinionated based top 5.
Right.
Don't like our opinions? Cool. Let us know. You want us to discuss a certain topic because you're digging our vibe? Cool. Let us know. But we do have the first topic. And the first topic to Ring in 2025, we can only discuss one person right off the bat. And it's someone who is getting his flowers in 2025. He's going on the last ride, the last rodeo, the last time you will not be able to see him. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to discuss, I know it was corny, but whatever. She's giving me, you guys can't see it because this is radio, but she's giving me really? You just phoned that one in there, George. We're discussing one of the GOATs of pro wrestling, and I say that with the utmost respect, John Cena.
John Cena himself, the word life, the doctor of thugonomics. How do you even pick a top 5 for such an illustrious career?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of different top 5s we could have went, but you and I decided to go feuds.
Yes,
right.
We did.
And every week we're going to mix it up. And for the weeks that you are not here, we should get this out of the way before we get into the 5. There are going to be a couple weeks that you're not here because you have prior commitments with school, you're hustling, you're grinding, and I'm so proud of you. And I want you to reach for it and excel. So there will be alternate voices that will fill in. But I want to make this official now on the show. Michelle is the co-host. People will fill in. People will try to fill in. But no one could walk a mile in those, what are you, like a size 4 boys? Shoes?
Like size 4.5, 5 kids.
No, you're not a 5 kids.
Yeah.
No, you're a 1 in adults.
No, but I can fit into a 4.5 or a 5 kids shoe for sure.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Sometimes kids shoes are a little
They are cheaper. You can get Jordans for like $60 where I got to pay $130.
Right? So
yeah, okay. All right, kudos to you and the cheap shoes.
Right?
But no one can walk a mile in those shoes.
Nobody.
And there will be some other voices, but Michelle is without a doubt the co-host on the Ringside 5. And this week's top 5 is John Cena.
Yes.
Top 5 feuds, in our opinion.
Yeah.
So every week we're going to mix it up. I get 1, 3, and 5 this week. You got 2 and 4. Next week, I'll get 2 and 4, and you'll get 1, 3, and 5.
Right. Yeah.
Should we get down to it?
Let's get to it then. I think we've wasted enough time.
We have wasted a lot of time, actually.
So who was your number 5 for John Cena's top feuds?
Well, when you look at John Cena's career in feuds, this feud could easily be number 1. Okay? Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
I'm laughing because I already know who it is.
You do know who it is, yeah, because we had a pre-production meeting. We discussed the 5. This feud was a feud that stood the test of time. And even in today's social climate, this feud reigns truer than ever. And this was the feud that brought John Cena out of his Marine phase for one night. And we got the DOT, the Doctor of Thugonomics, the Word Life himself. We got him back for one night only. For the greatest rap battle disc promo of all time.
Lay it on him.
I will. And if Kevin Federline wasn't around, I'd be spearing Brittany. Soak it in. Why are you laughing, Johnny Nitro? You ain't got the nuts to hit me.
Jeez.
Yes, these were 2 quotables from it. And if you don't know which promo I'm talking about, go on the Straight Talk YouTube page because your boy made a reel of this promo. Okay, just getting people hyped for this. That's right, number 5 all-time feuds: John Cena, K-Fed, Kevin Federline, the man who never had a hit in music. He had an album, only sold 26,000 copies, and I looked it up. 26,000 copies were sold. I'm almost positive 20,000 of them he bought for himself and his entourage.
Don't say that.
Yes. So I'm going to say 6,000 units were moved of Kevin Federline's Playing with Fire debut album.
Oh, that's what it was called.
Oh, yeah. And the song, his first single, was called Papui. Yeah. Yeah. He tried to capitalize on reggaeton.
Oh.
When reggaeton had already been
kind of like
created,
super popular.
But Kevin Federline tried to say that he was the innovator of reggaeton. Yeah, it didn't work out well. But you know what? Vince McMahon, knowing the pulse of the world, knowing that people hated Kevin Federline, let's invite him to Raw. Let's announce his debut album. Let's let him sing in the ring that men have died, bled, and sweated in. Let's let K-Fed have a week. And then let's go ahead and we're going to bring him back another week. And then we're going to get him to cut a video promo another week when he's on tour. But he's only got one city.
Oh, no.
So I'm touring in one city. It's a one-city tour. Big deal. And then we're going to bring him back, put him in a boxing outfit, and just let it all run to glorious wonder. So this was a 4-week feud. This only lasted on Raws. There was no pay-per-views for this. Johnny Nitro and Melina were kind of K-Fed's entourage, if you will, in the pro wrestling world. And who better than Johnny Nitro? Because, again, there are only certain wrestlers who can work with celebrities.
Right.
Johnny Nitro was one of them back in the day. The Miz eventually became one of them.
Yes.
You look at, again, Damian Priest most recently working with Bad Bunny,
yes,
as he did. These are the guys that you, not so much Damian Priest, but these are the guys that you work those clowny heels with jackass celebrities.
Right.
And that's what K-Fed was.
Yeah.
But this brought John Cena out of the Marine phase for the one night. We got the ultimate promo. John Cena ended up losing this feud, believe it or not, because Johnny Nitro got involved. K-Fed did pin the champ, but we still got I'd Be Spearing Brittany. And K-Fed went on to have an illustrious career where he won a legal battle and was paid absurd amount of alimony by Britney Spears. Or should I say by her father, because he was in charge of her.
Crazy.
Yeah. And now since then, Britney's been freed. Brittany has a book. I believe in the book, she does briefly talk about K-Fed's time in WWE, a very small paragraph.
Right.
But says that he used her fame and popularity to try to get over in other genres, i.e. the WWE.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Does. But what do you think of my number 5? I'm very excited about number 5. I think number 5 deserves to be on this list.
So I will give you some flowers for number 5, just because.
What kind of flowers? Like tulips or?
No, let me think.
No, okay.
I don't know. Gardenias came to my head.
Okay, as long as it wasn't baby's breath. Like, don't insult me.
No.
Because baby breath's like a flower that gave up.
No, baby's breath is more of like a filler. it adds to the bouquet or to the.
Oh, it's like
the
bread.
bunch. Yeah, it adds to.
It's the basket of bread that a restaurant puts on for you to eat before the meal.
Maybe a little garnish.
Oh, garnish.
It's more like
Okay.
than rather than the bread because
I'll
people
take that.
really like the bread.
No, I'll take that.
But John Cena as the Doctor of Thugonomics is my favorite John Cena. Like the word life, all of that, the spinner belt. That was my John Cena. And so I am totally okay with that because I thought the Marine was a little too straight edge. It was too, but I do understand that they were building him as like the all-American because they hadn't had a truly like all-American.
Sure. We were in the Ruthless Aggression era. We were getting into the PG era.
Yeah.
And we needed that Hulk Hogan character
Yeah, we
back.
needed a new Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And who better to fill that role than Giovanni Cena?
Giovanni Cena.
That's right.
Jeez Louise. All right, and ladies and gentlemen out there in Radio Land, I apologize for my stuffiness and sniffliness. I just gotten over a really bad cold, but I'm soldiering through for you guys and for our producer, Randy. Because, I want to make sure this sounds the best for Randy and the Huge Pop Hub. So, again, which you can find us on exclusively Ringside 5.
Absolutely.
Every single Sunday. So that's very exciting. And let's get into number 4, man. I'm excited to hear what you got. I mean, I know who you got, but I think the fans... I will say this. The 5 was a joke.
Well, a little bit, but I also think like it brought something back. Like it brought
Yeah,
back that
but
John Cena that
as well as I do. There was probably better feuds I could have selected.
That's okay. You know what? If you've got a problem with it, please leave us a comment. Let us know your opinions. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your top 5. I'd love to hear the opinions of our listeners.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So K-Fed locked in at 5. Who is number 4?
So number 4 can be summed up as the You Suck American Olympian.
Chad Gable.
Oh, no.
Jason Jordan.
Oh, no. Jason Jordan's dad.
Mr. Jordan?
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle. Oh, that's right. Yes.
You forgot about that storyline.
Well, not really. I mean, good for Kurt Angle, man. He was kind of hitting all races back then, so good for him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But anyway, number 4 is Kurt Angle. I chose Kurt Angle for number 4 because the first time we see John Cena is up against Kurt Angle.
Fair.
How do you forget that ruthless aggression line? Like, I can see it in my head right now. I see John Cena's weird little hairstyle.
Okay, I was going to touch on that. Yeah. Okay, good. Like, I don't know what was happening. I was hoping you were going to mention the hair. Because I was like, if you're going to talk about this moment in wrestling history, you have to talk about the hair. But yes, continue.
But I know that's etched into my mind, and it has to be etched into other people's minds too, because it was like the beginning of that era. And who better to kind of match that kind of ruthless aggression, match that energy than an Olympic champion, than Kurt Angle. And I think that the two of them, though it was very short-lived, and I think they only had maybe a handful of matches, solo by themselves, but I think over the span of about 20 years or something, they had like obscene amounts of matches together, whether it's just themselves or in a triple threat or Royal Rumble. They had a lot of opportunities to go toe to toe, but I think as John Cena's like introduction to WWE, his introduction to everybody, I thought that was pretty iconic, and I thought that had to speak for something, right? How do you choose, or how do you determine somebody's first opponent or their first interaction in a ring? So I thought that them choosing Kurt Angle for that was symbolic in a way, right? We know Kurt Angle can go in a ring. We know that he can go punch for punch. He's got the stamina. He's got it all, really. And to see that...
He's had hair.
Well, but to see that they put John Cena up against him in the beginning made me think, okay, this guy, if he can go toe-to-toe with Kurt Angle, then I wonder who else he can go toe-to-toe with in the locker room.
You thought of it that way. See, I thought of it this way. I thought of the All-American, Kurt Angle, going up against the new All-American.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about stature or like NCAA or wrestling or anything like that. You look at John Cena. John Cena is the prototypical All-American boy.
Right.
Born and raised on milk and prayers,
He's eating those vitamins, baby.
Eating those vitamins, right? Saying his prayers. You look at his dad. You look at his pops. Man, his
Yeah.
pops was even jacked, right?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
his brothers and his friends. Like John
Yeah.
Cena was
It
always
was his lifestyle, yeah.
that was not who he. That's not somebody he just didn't just be like, cool, I'm gonna build muscle for the hell of it. Like he lived and
Right.
breathed it. But John Cena was the all-American boy. Sunday dinners,
Yeah.
breakfast summers in New Hampshire. Like this is who John Cena was. So I took it as that way. But you're also on the tangent, right? If you're gonna be forced to pass the torch,
Right.
might as well pass it to somebody who is literally the total package.
Yeah, and I think even like looking up just their interactions, Kurt Angle has had such a like high respect for John Cena that he said that he wanted John Cena to be his way out, which I thought would be so beautiful in a sense, but we all know that's not the way it played out. It is what it is, but just to know that Kurt Angle had that thought made a lot of sense too, given the way that they started.
Right. I mean, I would look at I look at most feuds. We'll even give our opinions on who we think should retire John Cena or how John Cena should go about his last run
Right.
before we wrap up. But I like number 4. Number 4 is solid, excellent research as always. There wasn't a whole lot on number 5, so my research, you had a lot more research available at your hands.
Yeah.
But I love number 4. Now this is where it gets really tough because 4 and 5 are locked in.
Right.
3, 2, and 1 were hard. We went back and forth on our choices on who was going to do what and where and how they were going to fit. But I think we did okay.
I think so.
I think we're ready for number 3.
Hit us with your number 3, George.
Number 3 is the man, the myth, the legend. One half of the Acolytes, one half of the APA, eventually became JBL. That's right, Mr. John Bradshaw Layfield. Okay, if I had the cowbell and the
I was gonna say cue the cowbell.
Yeah, and the right? That's my cow impersonation. Yeah, you know what, JBL. Loved this feud. Loved it. John Cena getting a chance at his first major championship. He's got to go up against the old school ways of the JBL. He can't lay his hands on him. If he does, he'll relinquish his title shot. But if JBL antagonizes him and lays his hands on him first, John Cena can defend himself. Theodore Long stipulation right there. Okay, this led to some great moments in time. This led to the John Cena, pouring beer into that $4,000 Stetson. Led to the Crime Time and John Cena mashup of JBL's limo, where he literally spells JBL is a poopy. Yes, I know that for a fact because I just watched that clip earlier today. JBL is a poopy.
That's amazing.
Amazing. Crime Time. Use a crowbar and black metal baseball bat, a la Sting, to knock out all of the windows. Yeah, this feud was iconic for me, and it culminated in, it started really leading up to WrestleMania, John Cena winning at WrestleMania, and these two had a back and forth, leading us to parking lot brawls, leading us to I Quit matches that were so iconic. There was an iconic moment that sticks out to me, especially in the I Quit match where they're on the ramp. John Cena's put JBL through a plate of glass. JBL's put John Cena through a plate of glass. And then Cena's standing up there with some kind of metal rod from the stage. And he's just looking at JBL like he is going to spear him with this. And JBL's just cowering, sliding back on his trunks. John, I quit. John, I quit. And that's it. And that's kind of the way it ended. But there was always this hostility, but a form of respect between these two. Because JBL, his ego was his undoing. But John Cena's ego made him rise to the occasion. It's an oxymoron at best. But yeah, there was nobody else I could really see at number 3 other than JBL. And when I say we went back and forth of the order of 1, 2, and 3. But I think JBL at 3 is the right call. What do you think?
I think JBL at number 3 is a pretty solid like spot for him. That feud did give us like really good moments, and like you just mentioned, yeah, like JBL's ego was his undoing, but it was how John like rose to the occasion, right? So like even seeing that in a story is so beautiful in a way, right? Like I'm sure in the back they bro out and they're like, good job, but to see a performance like that, like to see them put that and leave that all out in the ring, leave that out on the stage, wherever they ended up that night, to see them do that was like, holy smokes. At least they put it out there and now they're done. And I do think that the two sides of the story, right? You had like this clean cut, like Southern man, and And then you got kind of like the Yankee in John because he's from West Newbury, Massachusetts. So
you almost think it was like a civil war.
Yeah, like it.
Ooh, I like that. I didn't even really catch on to that. Well done.
I like the.
This is why, ladies and gentlemen, give this girl her flowers, give her her dandelions, give her her sunflowers, whatever you want. Not baby's breath though.
No baby's breath.
It's a filler.
It's a filler, but I like seeing the like duality like that. Like it's they really know what they're doing sometimes with WWE, like with the stories.
So do we. Duality. That's a college level word right there. I love it when you say those big words.
Yeah. But solid choice for number 3. I don't think I could have chose anybody better, to be honest.
Well, I think you did, and that's why you got number 2.
Oh.
So now this is where we really, these 2 and 1, 2 could easily be 1 and 1 could easily be 2.
Yeah, hands down. And I know we touched on that. Like, how do we like rank this?
It was very
like,
simple because whoever has 1, 3, and 5 gets the veto of 1. They get the ultimate final vote, and that's what fixed it in. But like I said, had it not turned out that way, 2 could easily be 1 and 1 could easily be 2. Without further ado, drum roll. Who you got?
Number 2 is Randy Orton.
Of course.
And I think that Randy Orton and John Cena are like synonymous with each other just because their careers kind of started around the same time. They did have their own feuds. They've had, I believe it's like 21 or 22 broadcasted matches. Just them 2 one-on-one.
And is that like Raws, SmackDowns, and PLEs?
So yeah, actually that's just one-on-ones. I do think that's Raw, SmackDowns, like all of that. But to know that they met 21 or 22 times on broadcasted television says a lot, just because house shows aren't televised. Like WWE does have things that aren't necessarily televised. So how many times did they really go toe to toe?
Oh, I would probably, if they had 22 broadcasted matches over their longevity of their feud, I'm going to easily say these guys probably met at least 100 times on house shows included.
Yeah, absolutely. And to think that, like, again, it's the duality of it all, because Randy Orton was part of like the Authority, and we know how John Cena reacts to Authority. And I just, to see them both in the ring, to see how much they've grown, the two of them separately and together, really made me think that this feud, deserved to be number 2. Like Randy Orton has come out to say too that when he retires, he would love for John Cena to induct him into the Hall of Fame and all of that. And John Cena has gone on record to say, listen, I would do that for you. Like, I'll be there. I think that when 2 competitors can meet in the ring that many times, regardless of the outcome, to grow and to create a bond and a friendship that can last that amount of time, and that can survive ups and downs, like,
and bad hairstyles,
and terrible hairstyles, but never the bad mustache. Randy, we need that back.
The Randall. Yeah,
the Randall. But I think that every time that these 2 were in the ring together, it was just absolute magic. I would love to see them go toe to toe again. We know that this is John Cena's last stint.
His farewell tour, right? It's happening.
So I really think that a really good way to close out his career would be to kind of highlight on, those feuds that have really made an impact for his career.
I love that.
But we'll see how that all plays out, right?
Of course, we're not the bookers. We can all be the armchair booker.
Yes.
But we aren't.
Right?
Triple H the best.
But we, as the fans, we do have a say. Like, I really do think as fans, we do have a lot of control. If we voice our opinions, if we, make those things known, we have Twitter at our fingers. We have social media and stuff. Like, tag WWE.
But I feel like with John Cena's, I feel like this, I don't want to get involved in.
No, I think John Cena has enough wherewithal, and I think the whole situation, everything, I think they're going to do it very beautifully. I think they're going to give him his flowers. I think it's going to be very well done. I have really, not high expectations, but...
Because a lot of people don't associate, like, we as wrestling fans know emotion.
Yeah.
We know what emotion can bring down on us. Yeah. I mean, my wife and I, we watched Sasha versus Bayley at NXT Brooklyn. Oh. And it brings a tear to my eye. I watched Ric Flair
Yes.
Win the Rumble with a tear in my eye.
Yeah.
I have watched Shawn Michaels tell Ric Flair, "I'm sorry," and I don't care. There is no dry eye in the house.
I love you.
And that's when Shawn Michaels could look you straight in the face.
I hate when you make that joke.
I did it. I absolutely did. But do you feel like there will be some emotional moments in this final run?
100%. 100%. Because the amount of time and effort and blood, and maybe not blood, well, maybe blood, sweat,
I think there's got to be
tears,
at least one bloody match.
Like, I think for everything that John Cena has given to WWE, the company, the fans, what he has given to us over his career and his time there, it will bring him. Like, I feel emotional now thinking about it.
Absolutely.
Like, he's given me so many great moments to think about, like, as many other wrestlers have done the same. But to know that he is saying, "You're not going to see me here anymore," it's kind of bittersweet. I mean, we haven't been seeing him in the ring anyway.
Yeah, but he always came back. He always, did that little thing.
He always does it, and that makes me love him even more because he knows that it's bigger than him, right? Like, he's doing it it's not for himself. He's doing it for the fans. Like,
fans that whether it's the Cena sucks, or
right,
I love you, John Cena, or you can't see me. We're gonna get a taste of all of it. But
I
love just to get back on track. Go ahead.
I think he should do a medley just as a
Well, we'll get into the booking.
But yeah,
we'll get into the booking right before we wrap up. But I love number 2.
Yeah,
there was nobody better than the Viper, Randy Orton. RKO, you can't see me. How can you RKO something you can't see? You see what I did there? That's fun.
I like that.
Right? That's a shirt.
That's a good one.
That is a shirt. WWE, hook your boy up. How can you RKO something you can't see?
That's a good one.
That is awesome.
That is a good one.
And maybe John Cena's always been the voices in his head.
Maybe he listens to maybe he doesn't listen to the voices in his head.
Oh no, he doesn't.
And Randy does.
No, Randy listens.
They talk to him.
Oh yeah, they talk to him. Okay. Also, honorable mention. I mean, you got to talk about number 2 having arguably one of the best entrance songs in wrestling,
hands down.
John Cena as well has a great entrance song, and so does number 1.
So does number 1.
A man who we all know, or formerly known as the Rated R Superstar, now known as Cope.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that soak in. He's in limbo doing what he's doing over there. Right. But when he was in the E, he was a Rated R Superstar. He was 1/3 of the Brood. John Cena's greatest feud all time. Orangeville's own Edge. This being a Canadian show, this being our debut show, we've got to talk about Canada versus the US. And there's no better way to do that than with our Rated R hero, Edge. This was Edge's feud of all feuds. This, to me, is what put Edge in the WWE Hall of Fame. Edge and Cena did some things in this feud that were special. Unforgiven, Scotiabank, or at the time ACC, Air Canada Center. I was there. Edge got put through 3 tables.
Woo.
A ruckus Canadian crowd was all on Edge. Not your boy. Your boy was Thugonomics all the way. But to be there in that house, that moment. Electric. You could not buy a seat in the house. And back then, tickets were reasonable. I got 200s for like $150, which was fantastic. Now 200s are like $19,000.
Crazy.
But it shows you the popularity of pro wrestling, right?
Absolutely.
This also gave us the Rated R Monday Night Sex show that happened. This also led to, again, another great Crime Time cameo when they sell all of Lita's stuff.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. This leads, because right during this feud, Lita does actually retire.
Yes.
And leaves the E.
Yeah.
And as she does, Crime Time, who was allowed in her dressing room by a wrestler who shall not be named because they couldn't see him. That's what they said in the promo. Go back and look it up. And Lita, her stuff was sold off. But yeah, Cena versus Edge, Canada versus the US. This was the culmination of everything. And this was when John Cena was definitely PG-13, definitely the Marine, definitely the All-American. So how do you go up against the All-American clean-cut boy? You bring in the Rated R Superstar. You bring in somebody who's edgy, someone who's defiant, someone who's anti-authority, but not like John Cena is. John Cena's anti-authority with God on his shoulder. Edge is anti-authority with Satan on his shoulder. And I'm loving it.
Ooh.
One of my favorite feuds all time. We got so much heat from Cena. We got so much heat from Edge. This is why 1 and 2 could easily be alternated.
Right.
And this is why I would even say I'd bring up 3 somewhere in the mix. But 1 and 2 could definitely be alternated. But Edge, me getting the chance at 1, 3, and 5 this week, had to be Orangeville's own. I'm proud of my 1. I'm behind it. I enjoyed it. Everything about it. What are you thinking of my number 1?
I do like your number 1. We've brought it up many times, duality, and I think when you look at certain matchups, it has to be 2 sides of the same coin. And
I see the. I'm telling you, man, college language class don't got nothing on us.
I just think that it was great. You worded it perfectly, though, because John Cena, very straight cut, all-American, yes, Edge, Canadian, but also how do you put somebody up who's so clean cut? Like, what do you do in that situation?
You gotta get the dirty boy. You gotta get the bad boy, right?
The fact that we got the rated R superstar, as you were talking, I saw the bed in that ring. The moments that we got from this feud in particular were phenomenal.
Yeah,
and like, how do you argue?
An 18-year-old George was very happy about these moments. I was.
And then the fact that like John Cena still was very like clean cut, but still rocking it out with Crime Time makes me like laugh inside.
Listen, John Cena may be PG-13 in front of the cameras, but at that point in his history, John Cena was the rated R superstar backstage.
Yeah, I know,
okay.
right?
But you know what? I will say, we could have gone so many different avenues with these 5. Triple H could have easily been involved in that as well.
Yeah.
We could have easily brought up Nexus and everything that Cena went through with Nexus.
That's right.
We could have talked about Punk as well. There were some. That's why these 5 are special. And yeah, people be like, well, you really could have replaced Federline. You know what? You don't know if you weren't there.
Yeah. Plus,
and
these are our 5.
Yeah, these are our 5.
Yeah.
You don't like it? Drop an opinion. We want to hear it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. Tell us
your
5.
5.
Yeah.
We're in symmetry here. We're syncing up. I love it.
Do you want to do karate in the garage?
All right, before we go, real quick, armchair booking. I'm going to give you a minute, then I'm going to take a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a minute and 5 seconds. But don't forget to check us out on all our socials. Straight Talk Wrestling. Follow us everywhere for Ringside 5 news and updates. And Michelle as well also has her Instagram. It's Michelle Arujo _ is it not?
2 underscores, but I'll be tagged in the straight stuff. Don't worry.
Straight Talk stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And also, you can listen to us exclusively on the Hub.
Absolutely.
And a couple weeks later, we will be dropping on the Straight Talk YouTube page as well.
Amazing.
So check out for that. All right, I'm going to give you a minute and 7 seconds. You got 1 minute to tell me John Cena's final booking. No interruptions for me. 2, 1, go.
Okay, mine is really simple. So for his final booking, it should just be a gauntlet. It should be a gauntlet of all the feuds anybody has had beef with, and they should just put him through the gauntlet. He's in the ring, bring out the next guy, and in true fashion, it should be like maybe like not so hard to beat for him to like, you know, somebody who's going to be difficult and give John Cena a little run for his money. But that's how I would like to see it go out. And I would like to see him go through the eras of John Cena. So like the Ruthless Aggression, the Doctor of Thugonomics, the Marine, like I'd want to, and we know John Cena's so animated that like I truly don't think that this is completely far-fetched. I think if not both, one of those things that I just mentioned is something that he would do. And there you have it.
I like that. You get 15 seconds to spare.
Aha!
All right, so I'm going to jump in about 5 seconds with mine. Okay. And my booking kind of flows with yours a little bit, but I'm going to switch it up in 2, 1. I definitely want to see John Cena Taylor Swift it up. I want to see the eras, but I want to see John Cena era it up for a month of the year.
Ooh.
So in January, I want John Cena to be Ruthless Aggression. February, Royal Rumble. I want John Cena to come out as the Doctor of Thugonomics. Then in May, you give me the Marine. Then in, March, you give me the Marine Elimination Chamber. Then as we go into the show of shows, WrestleMania, you give me John Cena Fruity Pebbles. That's what I want to see. That's how I live it up, and that's what you do. And the final person to retire John Cena, because I said Fruity Pebbles, you know where I'm going. John Cena versus The Rock one more time. But now, not The Rock that we got back then. I'm never leaving again, coming out to P. Diddy's song. Screw that. You left 5 minutes later to make Fast 5. John Cena versus the final boss. That's how you end this story.
I like that. And you know what? What I like the most about it is actually taking a month for each era. I like
Live
that.
it up.
Yeah.
I want just one night. I want to soak it in.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and on that, that's Ringside 5, Episode 1, in the can with clean audio. Randy, we love you.
We love you, Randy.
This is take 2. And don't forget to check out next week, where next week we are dropping our top 5. Announce it.
Commentators.
No, managers, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Managers.
Guys.
Commentators, episode 3.
I'm sorry, guys.
Managers. That's right. Will Mr. Fuji make the list? Will Bobby the Brain Heenan make the list? Did I just give you my 2 choices? Probably. Check out next week. Peace, love, and wrestling, guys. We'll see you then.
Bye.